Hello, my name is Shuttley and welcome back for another episode of Victoria 3 as Hedjaz. In previous episode we finally managed to get access to oil, and I believe we've got... Didn't we get more than one area with it already? Yeah, we got oil rig over here in Yemen. I believe we could have some oil rigs in Laristan as well. But we haven't built any because we just don't have the population to work everything in there. So it's a little bit limited in that regard. But regardless, we did notice that we wanted to, or we could probably do a war against Persia, because Persia only has, in terms of the military anyway, they've only got line infantry, no artillery or anything like that. So our army should be superior to theirs, at least a decent bit. We are still building a lot of barracks, which is going to allow us to get probably close to a total of 100 battalions later on, not quite as many quite yet. We also got a logging camp being built in Gondar and administration buildings and all that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the logging camp to be built, and then we might get another construction... I mean, we've got 5 construction sectors already in there, and another 3 over here, so we can maybe get 1 extra in here afterwards. You know what, we'll already assign it in there, but I'll put the logging camp to the top. So we're going, because we've got a very small construction capacity right now regardless, so we do want to increase that. But if you do have a look at a little bit on the market right now, so silk is something that we desperately need, explosives we need a lot, transportation is needed a lot, and then steel and wood and artillery and all that. So there is a lot of need in there. Hopefully we can... Ah, there we go, we don't pay any more war reparations, so we can start paying off the... Oh, Persia's damaging relations as well, excellent. So we don't need to... expel diplomats or anything to get to the point where we can actually declare war on them. Like right now the relations are too high for that, but it's going to be going fairly quickly downwards, so we'll have that up and running in no time. And the construction sector in Oromia is basically done. The government administration is going to be done in like 3 weeks. So now we've got almost... Actually, if we were to get 1 more construction sector somewhere, where would we... I mean, this could probably get another one. We'll build it after the administration center, though, because we need a bit of bureaucracy. We don't have a massive unrealized... Actually, 14,000 unrealized taxes. Hold on a bit. I mean, I know that there's a little bit in bureaucracy, at least, but... you know, it's... Okay, that's surprisingly much. Oh, it's probably turmoil, actually. We've still got quite a bit of it. Or radical, so we got quite a bit of turmoil in... places like Amhara. Amhara is not actually being taxed though, but over here we don't have that much there. Gondar does have quite a bit of turmoil, but it's also going to be incorporated soon, and there's almost 5 million more taxpayers, although it is also going to mean a lot more bureaucracy needed, so that is something to keep in mind. So the relations with Persia are still going to have to go down quite a bit before we can declare the war, but at least we are going to get to the 40-ish. Ooh, oil discovered in Oromia. Oh, I didn't know that there's actually going to be oil in here as well. Not saying there's a bad thing, mind you, but I didn't realize that that was going to happen. Right, so I don't think there's anything that I can do to speed up the productions in here other than making more lumber camps. I mean, as we stated earlier, the wood is a little bit low on them, or high price on that, so there's kind of a bit of lack of it right now. I mean... Yeah, that is actually pretty bad. Silk is actually something that if and when we do the war against Persia, I'm going to try to get Fars, because that does have room for silk plantations and opium and some cotton and all that. It doesn't have any minables, mind you. Laristan does have coal, which we do want to get, and plus there's the oil, of course. So we do want to get that as well. Now this would have more sulfur, and I believe this is going to be another one of the oil provinces. I'm fairly certain of that. Of course, it hasn't discovered any yet. But I think what we're going to do in the war against Persia, we're just going to get Laristan and Fars. That's going to give us a decent bit of stuff to work in there. Ah, there we go. Now we're working on the steel mill, and how quickly are we getting that? It's 23 weeks. So we've got okay constructions. But actually, is there a lot of iron in the market? There's actually surprisingly much. So if we were to switch, for example, this one, it would probably cost us a lot. We still would have some income. And now we can get a lot more construction overall. I mean, yeah, it does cost us a lot, but at the same time, we've now got construction speed of 48 total. Of course, oh, Conservative Party has been reformed again. Right, so let's have a look at the election. So, Conservative Party... Oh, that's just the Sunni Ulema. So, the... Right, okay. So, the other religious party was then disbanded, I suppose. We got the Free Trade Party, which does have a pretty good momentum overall. Doesn't necessarily have a lot of votes. And there's Patriotic Party and Liberal Party. Oh, right. So, Intelligentsia and Armed Forces are both influential. Interesting. I mean, that doesn't mean that our military is even stronger, which is quite nice. Intelligentsia, unfortunately, isn't all that happy. But yeah, we're still making okay amount of money, actually. So if we do have a look at the... I think we did lower the wood demand a little bit by switching to the iron frame building. So, of course, iron need is going to be a little bit higher. Although it doesn't seem like it's too bad here, so I could probably upgrade these two as well. So yeah, the wood demand goes down quite a bit, but iron demand goes up quite a bit as well. So the amount of resources needed total is still going to be bigger. But since the more we pay for construction and all... Actually, one of the things that I'm not entirely sure, but it could be something that can be done is... Actually, that would be a little bit expensive. Let's see, the glassworks over here... No, probably not needed. And the railway is already subsidized. It's just because we've got 41 million in the investment pool, we could probably just use that to subsidize some of the buildings. Like, for example, that one is probably not going to be that bad. I don't actually know if the investment pool transfer is just for the construction, to be fair. Or will it actually assist with the subsidies? No, the subsidies are different expense there. Okay, so that wouldn't really do that much for us then. But now the private sector is also getting a lot of stuff built, so that's good news for us. So we're slowly catching them up. I was looking a little bit on the save from Egypt's point of view, and... about a third of their income, while we were paying the war operations as well, was coming from me. And then they had quite a bit more construction as well. But I think now we're getting to the point where we can probably speed up the construction in a lot of places. Not really everywhere quite yet, but at least do a little bit of levels here and there. Upgrade. Is there... There's no construction sector in Somaliland. We should probably get one there. The wood, explosive, and coal are very expensive. Oromia is still having a bit of a lack of... Oh, did we get this one incorporated? No, it's 5 months away. Okay, so we're slowly getting there, at least. The relations with Persia are only 41 right now. I don't... Without taking infamy, I don't think I can do much about that. But, you know, it's slowly going down. Oh, there we go. We've got the construction office done, and we are getting some of the barracks now. So finally we can start expanding our military to at least be 80 battalions or something. Once we have that much, or rather once we have all three armies full, so it's going to be like 40, 20, and 20. The Great Gondar Train Robbery. The specter of train robberies have been committed by daring gangs Ologos Gondar, threatening law, order, and the purses of the wealthy across the state. So either lose authority... I suppose we can pay a little bit of authority. We should probably... You know what, we've been bolstering the industrialists, which are now influential. We can stop bolstering that so we can gain all of that back. We are still making pretty... Oh, wow, we could make it 10,000. Got pretty good money there. Is there any better taxes available? Not really, not really. We could actually slowly start dropping the tax level, though. It is still fairly high. But I think that'll probably have to be for now. We are about to get the vacuum canning as well, actually, which is quite nice. So yeah, both damaging relations, they do have a vassal. If we were to declare war on them... I mean, of course, we can't do that yet, but there would be... They might have up to about 100 battalions plus their vassals' troops, but I don't think the vassals' troops are all that great. But now we've got the vacuum canning. The rapid mastication could probably be a pretty decent one, or steel railway cars, but we don't have a lot of steel production in our market. Improved fertilizer could also work, or threshing machines, or... all of that stuff. What are we doing in the society sector right now? Human rights, social security, and then it opens up some laws in there, which to be fair wouldn't necessarily be too bad. In the military we are getting the monitors. Oh, right, we don't... I don't think we have the ironclads in use yet, although we don't have a lot of flotillas in general, to be fair. There's the modern nursing, which could be quite handy. Repeater would allow us to get the repeating rifles, then go to the handcraft machine gun and all that, so that would be also pretty decent, but I think we're going to do something in production still, just to get a little bit more stuff in. That would be, ooh, economy of scale building, okay. Electricity could be useful. Reinforced concrete would be quite useful as well. And the treasure machines, improved fertilizer. There's a lot of good things in here. I think what we're going to do though is we're going to go for the rubber, just so that we can open up some of that stuff for production. And our steel mill is about to be done, which means that we can start finally producing some of our own steel from domestic coal and domestic iron, at least in theory. There we go, that's now built. Is there... oh yeah, there's a little bit of lack of infrastructure in here, so let's just go ahead and build another level for the railway. Of course, it's going to be after all these barracks, but the barracks are going to be done relatively quickly anyway, so I'm not too worried about that one. And we're still making pretty good money, so we could, in theory... how many do we have here? We've got 4 over there. We've got 3 over here, so if we were to put this into iron frame buildings, although I suppose, I don't know... well, I suppose it does reduce the wood use again. The iron price, on the other hand, is going to start going up. If we do have a look at the wood demand now, so the price has dropped quite decently. Still relatively high. The coal price is pretty high. Ironclad price is pretty high. So we managed to pay off already about $500,000 credit. So that's good. And now we got a increased construction speed already. Oh, we're doing 3 buildings at once. So Conservative Party won the election, and Patriotic Party was the second highest there. So I'm guessing we won't do... well, oh, I don't know if I... oh, right. Yeah, it's gonna have to be landowners brought in here, I guess. It does increase the legitimacy quite a bit, though. So I suppose that's good news. But there's not a lot of laws that we can then try passing. I mean, maybe some of the, like, the National Guard and secret police. Not gonna go back to agrarianism. Taxation laws we can't really change. We got the dedicated police force, so we'll hold on to that one. Can't do the border controls. Wage subsidies we already have. Not gonna go for censorship in the free speech. And yeah, so I suppose the only thing that we could do is probably go for National Guard or something. But that would increase the bureaucracy cost quite a bit. So I think right now we're just gonna wait until we've done our war against Persia, captured 2 states at least. Maybe a 3rd one, depends a little bit on the situation. But I'm hoping to get Laristan and Fars at least out of it. I should probably make sure to keep relations with Russia. Oh, we actually got pretty good relations with Russia already. What about the Ottomans? Those are pretty good as well. Britain, we are currently improving relations. And then I suppose there's not that many others in there that we need to worry about. North German Federation has formed. And then, of course, France, we should probably improve relations with you. We've got a bit of poor relations right now. But they seem to be, let's just say, non-aggressive towards us right now, at least. Right, so the money that we're making... I mean, suppose we've been expanding our military quite drastically. But the money we're making is dropping a little bit. But at the same time, we're still slowly paying off the interest rates and all that. So it's... oh, actually. What I could do is I could add in another tax, I suppose. For fine art. We've got a lot of fine art being done. Or I could actually, at this stage, might be better to get some decrees in somewhere. So we've got the infrastructure in there. We could put the infrastructure one in Oromia as well. Although, how is the infrastructure in Gondar? It's 5 weeks. Okay, so I think once it's done incorporating, we don't really need the decree there. But I suppose we've got a lot of industry in Hedjaz. We could just encourage that one instead. And I have a feeling that that will then increase the income quite a bit as well overall. Oh, the urban centers are hiring. That's good. There we go. Now we're making £7,000 per week again. So that was a pretty good increase there, and the amount of barracks we still have underway is quite large, although we just barely have a second page in the construction right now, so that's good. It's the radical numbers, it is slowly climbing up, unfortunately. The loyalist numbers are slowly dropping. But I suppose we'll just have to go along with that. Alright, so that one's going to be done now, and then there's going to be 2 more being built and all that. But we do have already pretty decent amount of troops overall. Over 80 battalions, and we're still getting more. We didn't build these yet. No, we got 5 in there, and then we've got probably a little bit more in here. No, that's actually at 20. That's at 20. This is a 15, and then we've got 5 at Somalia. Yeah, okay. Was it Yemen then getting some? Yeah, Yemen's getting a few. And that one already probably got some. State knows no borders. Relations with Egypt go up, or intelligentsia approval. Actually, we're going to take the intelligentsia's approval rating up a little bit, just so that we can get the society tech cost reduction. That'll be quite useful. Oh, and there's a railway being built in Amhara. Interesting. I mean, very useful, mind you, but interesting that it's the private industry doing that. Or private construction. So yeah, how is the market looking at this stage? Fine art is pretty expensive. Engines are quite expensive. Opium, dye, steel. Okay, so a lot of the prices have started dropping, which is definitely... Oh wait, that's a Russian market. We're in the Russian market. Right, am I still paying for trade routes? No, I'm not. Okay, well, being part of the Russian market is... I mean, at least with Russia, they are more likely to have a port, so if there is a revolution, compared to, like, while it was under Prussia or North German Federation and now, is that there's so many revolutions in Germany often, and usually the revolution takes all the coastline, so it's really bad. So, for us right now, we're actually losing a bit of money. But there's a lot of demand for fine arts, that's for sure. Opium, steel, transports, and all that. How much is the steel mill actually making money? I'm guessing it's making pretty decent... Well, it's a weekly balance of 500, so yeah, that's not too bad. We could go for extra production. If we go for the open heart process, that's going to be even more production. Now, it is going to require more iron and all that, but there's a decent bit of iron in the market, at least. That's good news for us. Oh, for a moment there, we were making pretty good money again. But now we're losing a little bit, but we've got about 3.5 million credit right now. Ooh, we're going to have more interest. Oh, finally. I can declare some interest again. I could go for either Egypt or Zanji. I think we're going to go for the Nile. So that eventually, once we do manage to do our independence war, we should be able to get maybe a little bit land. I mean, admittedly, Egypt does have a pretty strong, well, large army. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's particularly strong, but it is large. If we have a look at the quality, so it is skirmish infantry with mobile artillery. Luckily, we've got the shrapnel artillery, but it's the difference isn't that massive. So we probably want to unlock a little bit better troops there before we go all the way in. Looks like the radical numbers did actually drop there a little bit, so that's good. And loyalist numbers did go up. We already got 88 battalions total, of which only a certain amount are actually active right now. A lot of them are still hiring, but that's fine. Oh, we don't actually have that many buildings left. We've got 29 weeks of construction queue. So at this stage, we should probably have a look at what do we actually need. So fine arts, engines. We do get the engine... Oh, right, Need is having a bit of a lack of infrastructure there. We could probably just... There's some coal on the market. We could probably go for the industrial port. And then we've got one of these shipyards, for example this one. I'm going to start producing steamships. We've got the engine production... Well, somewhat at least. Not necessarily massively, but... Do we want to go for ironclads? I mean, I suppose we could. And then at the same time we could just switch our naval bases to use ironclads. So that's at least a little bit demand for it. Of course, again, our fleet is just a few ships. Speaking of which, I suppose we could build another few in here. Get to at least 5, which is still way too small for a fleet. But it is better than nothing. How's the... Okay, relations with Persia are almost down far enough that we could declare war on them. And again, we're taking Laristan and Fars in the first war against Persia, and then later on we might take more. But right now, since we're not quite strong enough to risk a lot of infamy, especially if we want to get our independence soon-ish, then we want to be able to do that without too much intervention from the other nations. And if we have a lot of infamy, then of course that is going to cause some problems. Standard of living is, well, it's actually on an upturn right now. It's definitely good news for us. Alright, so there's the naval bases. I suppose we could also oil discover in Dagestan. Oh, okay. So dyes are in quite high demand. Steel and all that. There is also a lot of clippers for sale, as well as a lot of steamers, actually. How's the... Oh, right, and we've got plenty of oil. Oh, that does remind me. We got the vacuum canning, but I didn't actually activate that yet, did I? So it's not going to use any extra iron. It's just going to use some extra fish. It's also going to increase the amount of production there. Actually, we should probably just do that on all of them. So vacuum canning, that's going to give us a bit more groceries. And it's going to give it a bit of demand for the oil rig, which is going to then allow us to work in here a bit further, or have a lot more people employed in here. To be fair, it does require some coal there. Oh, right, it's a steam-powered derrick. Eventually we can use the combustion engine, which means that we'll just... Ooh, Persia declared a rivalry. I suppose that would have been a smart thing to do earlier. We could probably do that to them as well. So declare rivalry. And then if we wanted to declare war, we could do that. I suppose we are probably ready for it now. So conquer state Laristan. I think we got several armies, so we can probably get going with this. So let's just go ahead and activate some of the armies at least. So your offensive planner, you're going to be mobilized. Oh, expert artillery commander as well. Anyone good at defending? Not necessarily. I suppose I'll bring you in to defend. And the other one is going to be there attacking. We're going to lose a lot of money during this war. But I suspect that once we get this war done, I'm going to add in another war goal for the Faras. So we did take a little bit infamy there. But it's going to start dropping slowly. Now, is anyone... Russia is someone that I could maybe sway. Egypt I could sway. I don't think I need to sway either one of them, to be fair. We're slowly getting the troops in here. I mean, well, it's going to take a few more days before they're in there. There we go, there's one. So how's their defense? Is about 46. Average offense right now at least is 98. France sides with Persia. Oh, bollocks. Why did you do that? Oh, and USA is okay. Puppeting Oman. Oh, it's over there. Right, okay. Well, if France is joining, I think we may need to invite Russia. We'll just offer obligation. Because that might be what we need to do then. The French haven't started bringing troops in here yet, at least. Are they at war with another nation? They are at another war right now. And they've got a lot of active diplomatic plays. Now, in how many of them they are actually siding with someone remains to be seen. But yeah, if we can get Russia in, then we've got a chance. Russia sides with Russia. Oh, it says that we're still worried, though. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the second army. Over here, mobilize it. Not going to put it on the front line yet, but I just want to have... that's the third army, I suppose. But I want to have it as an option. Oh, and both Russia and France start a conscription there. There is some French units coming in. How good is their... Oh. Great Britain sides with Oman against USA. Alright then. So the French troop quality is something that I'm a little bit... curious about. So they've got trench infantry, shrapnel artillery, and then they've got bicycle messengers. So they've got pretty decent troops, especially for defending. What I suppose I could do is I could hire a new admiral again. I guess we're going to have a landowner, because we got three options. So we'll take the cautious one. What we can do is we can put you to raid convoys through here. It may not be a lot, might not be even nearly enough. But if we can sort of start reducing their morale there during the fighting, then that's good. France sides with USA. Okay. So France is going to be potentially in several wars. Yeah, USA and France versus Great Britain. We have not mobilized anything there yet. Alright then. I mean, I suppose they've still got time. Oh, right, this is one of the bigger fronts there. So the Russians are probably going to just push through there. Have they added in any other war goals? Not really. I don't think they can, actually. There's not enough points. So this is probably going to be a big war. But I'm hoping that we can just... I think what we may need to just do is hold our ground here. Let the Russians advance. Just let them basically conquer all of it. They've got a lot of troops in there. They will probably get invaded again around St. Petersburg. Because that is what France seems to be doing a lot. At least what I've seen. We've still got a few things being constructed as well, I suppose. Let's have a look at the things we need. So, fine artillery. Where do we have the arms industry over here? Oh, right, yeah, we got some steel. So we could go for the at least smoothbores and rifles. So that is going to increase the productions a little bit. Is that going to be... No, I think we'll just hold on to that as is. We did have another arms industry somewhere. Yeah, one over here. So we'll put rifles and smoothbores in there as well. A bit cheaper to get the things. So, oh, there's Russia, an army heading in here. The war has broken out. So we're still losing a lot of money, admittedly, in here. Oh, is one of the Russians attacking there? Okay. The enemy's got a little bit defenders in there. Extra, but I suppose I'm hoping that the Russians from the north will be able to break through quickly enough. The Persians don't seem to have a general in here, admittedly. And the enemies are not attacking. Are they fighting against... oh, it is... Alright, so that's the vassal, Kamat, whose armies they're fighting here, but they just don't have the strength necessarily, although they do have the manpower advantage. Whether that's going to be enough, though, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, this battle is not going very well. Honestly, on either side. In the north, I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a victory. Mostly because there's just not a lot of defenders in there. Also, population is starting to go quite a bit up there. It's almost 20 million. Once we conquer these, we are probably going to go over 20 million at least. Well, there's a 500,000 there and another 800,000 there. So yeah, there's going to be a pretty decent amount there overall. And Battle of Tabriz is going to be, or Battle in Tabriz, sorry, is going to be over shortly. I think over here we've lost, yeah, it's 6 versus 6 already. And in terms of manpower, both sides lost a lot of manpower, admittedly. So that's fine. Hey, we sank some French convoys. But also, our convoys have been sank down there. So I'm going to be out... Oh, bollocks. Am I going to be out of supplies here as well? Or is that just... I might be. Oh, not too bad here. Okay, so the French brought in... Or they have another army heading in here. And then they've got... Actually, there is no French in there right now. Okay. I'm going to take the big army and put it on the offensive. We've got a lot of friendlies in there, and it looks like the Russians... Oh, the Russians are fighting the French now. Duel? Who's this? Brigadier General and Brigadier General. We should probably stop it. Lose a little bit of popularity, that'll probably be fine. We do have 100 battalions total now. Of course, we don't have all of them in use. I suppose what we could do is either give this one a promotion, or... How old are you, actually? 48. Alright, so I could probably promote you to Major General. So you can have a bit of extra troops there. Okay, now it's... No, it's just the Russians fighting there. They do have the manpower advantage, so they might get through. And over here, the French are holding the Russians back quite a bit. Of course, there's not that many French in there, and I suppose with the convoy raiding that we've done, they've lost a little bit of morale, but I suppose that might be the case for us as well. Oh, that morale is 0, okay. Are you currently in the combat then? No, I don't think you are. Is that because, yeah, 100% attrition? That's not great. We'll see how it goes. I mean, actually, no, I don't think that would work directly. Hey, we sank another 20 convoys. So we're building the naval bases now, so we're going to get a little bit more from there. I think what we might want to do... We've got infrastructure in here. We could have at least another iron mine. I'm sure that there's going to be need for that. Oh, and now we've got the coal in the market, so we can actually produce a lot more iron overall. And suppose we've got the lead mines as well. Do we need lead a lot? Not particularly much, actually, but the sulfur mines could probably... No, that's already... Okay. Already as good as it needs to be. I'm going to subsidize the chemical plant, just so that we can keep hiring everyone, so we can get all the explosives we need. Because I think we are going to need a lot more explosives overall. And there's a lot of industry being built by the private sector, so... Textile metals, glassware, coffee plantation, and motor industries. Alright then, well, I mean, getting more motor industries is actually going to be quite useful. Now, the shipyard over here isn't hiring all that much, I suppose. We could just go for the steamships over here as well, although I don't know if it's going to be any more profit or anything. I suppose we'll keep it as is for the time being, at least. And it looks like the Russians are going to win the battle here, so that's good. And the French are... Well, I don't know if they've lost too much of the morale there yet. But I think the morales are dropping thanks to our convoy raiding. So the Russians might be able to get through there as well, or further in from there as well. We sank another 20 convoys, or was that? That was actually the previous convoy sinking already. And we lost 100 convoys, so that's a bit of a problem. Oh, right, they're sinking the convoys coming in from here, right. Oh, they're actually sinking right there now. So how bad is the situation for our troops there? It's not great. Bit low on morale. Not impossible, mind you, still to be able to... Ooh. Is this going to be a victory or a loss? I mean, they started with a little bit lower morale in there than they normally would have. But they still got pretty darn good troops in there, so I don't know if the Russians will be able to get through. There hasn't been any landings there. Oh, there's a naval combat in here. Oh, there's Russians being pummeled to death. Hey, we actually managed to capture something in here. Now it's against the French, so that's not going to go quite as well. Suppose one... Well, actually, I don't think that would work. One thing that I could try is do a landing in here somewhere, but since there is no general for the Persians, there is going to be defenders in there regardless. They've got a lot of French troops in here now, so I think at this stage I should probably just hold my ground. We'll capture at least partially the state here, so if we were to do a peace, it is possible eventually, although I suppose... Yeah, we control the primary war goal already, or most of it at least. So there's a pretty good chance that we'll at least get something out of this. Even if we don't get both the states, but if we can at least get Laris down, we can... Oh yeah, we've sunk a few more convoys, good. How is the French morale looking now? It's still pretty decent. Oh, and the Russians got beaten back there. They've brought in a lot of troops in here, to be fair. Is the war against, between... Yeah, the war between Oman and USA is ongoing. The French are part of that war. So are the British, of course, and Papal States as well. I do want... Oh. I suppose the French are not focusing on the Papal States, at least. Oh, wait, no. They're on the American side, never mind. But the British and the Americans are fighting over there quite a bit. And I think that was where a lot of the French troops were earlier, maybe. Okay, there was another loss to the north, and there's going to be another loss over here. And they're bringing in more troops. Right, we are advancing in there, but like, again, we need more fleet. We've got 3 flotillas now, so we should be able to sink at least a little bit more convoys. But it's going to be a bit of a rough one, but I suspect that, well, the French war support isn't all that great. To be fair, my war support isn't all that great either. We've taken a decent bit of casualties overall, a lot from war exhaustion and all that. Technically speaking, what I suppose I could do, well, it's not complaining about the attrition. That is actually still a pretty bad attrition rate. I'm just going to send you to go back to Ethiopia. So there's less convoys that need to be worried about. And now we've still got, right, so you've got massive attrition as well, although it is going down. Wait, no, there's the morale going down, never mind. Well, I mean, I suppose what I could do... Oh, there we go, there's another battle against the Persians there, so that's going to be a victory, no doubt. Oh, there's only... Right, they moved all their troops away from there for a little bit. And now they're in here. Okay, so we lost that battle. They are now starting to advance in. But I suspect... Oh, that's me defending... Oh, actually. Ah, I'll discover in need. Oh, good. How much did we discover there? There's 25 oil rigs there, okay. I don't suppose there's a massive demand for oil yet in the market. No, it's not too bad, actually. We could probably build another oil rig in Yemen, at least. Get that started, but we are unfortunately out of time for this episode, so if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also check out the links down below in the description, but other than that, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.